I do not know what we were thinking with the signing of Daniel Bentley. I'm changing his name. 2 missed long throws, spills the ball directly to the player for a goal. I'm changing his name. He is now Daniel Honda. Daniel Toyota. What? We have 4 keepers on the roster. Surely that means Dovan's getting loaned out. Anyways, Efron Mason Clark. I missed you so much. Having that dynamic player on the left-hand side. Instant impact. Created 2 chances within 3 minutes of being on the pitch. And then he ultimately gets himself in the right position to get a goal. Don't forget, he had 10 goals last season. So great to see him play some footy. He needs to be a part of the whole match. I'm so happy that he got minutes. I'm so happy that Rudy got minutes. Let's take a look at the starting lineup. And don't call me a fake fan. There's still 4 minutes left in the game. Listen, I gotta sleep. I've got things to do. Just tilt your head. This is the starting lineup. So, Bobby Thomas and Liam Kitching, our OG partnership. Jake Bidwell and Joel Latsabodier on the wings. Joel Latsabodier, first game at right back, at least in 2 seasons. Then midfield of Victor Torp, Caleb Urenchi, and Jack Radoni. Great to see Jack Radoni stretch the legs out. 62 minutes, you can see right there. Obviously, we'll get to the goals, but he got on the goal sheet, which was amazing. Victor Torp filled into that Matt Grimes role. I saw that him and sometimes Urenchi, but mainly Torp, were splitting the center backs at times to calm things down. Sakamoto and Hamer out on the wings, and then Rudy and Taiwo Awoni up the top. Taiwo with 70 minutes in the legs. I want to start with Taiwo because obviously he got our first goal. What a start to the game. What a touch by Caleb Urenchi. Unbelievable first few minutes there. He got his goal. Great first-time finish. I thought that he was working the channels so well all game. He's quick as hell. He's strong. He was causing center backs pain and suffering the entire game. So Taiwo is definitely one of my favorite players to watch on the pitch. Secondly is Jack Radoni. Jack Radoni obviously gets that second goal. So it does sound like I'm cherry picking, but I genuinely did think that those 2 players were 2 of the best on the pitch on the attacking side. I just thought that they were so active. They were making runs. They were moving around. Like Radoni. Radoni has a defensive contribution, hits the ball forward to Taiwo. Taiwo gets in front of his defender and then flicks it onto Rudy. And then next thing you know, Rudy's one-on-one with the keeper. He's never going to miss that. I know he had nightmares about that missed chance against Arsenal in the second half with Raya. So he was never missing there. We go up 2-0. And you're thinking, oh, wow, okay. Now, did I expect us to win this game? Of course. But I didn't expect us to go up 2-0 in the first 5 minutes. But things kind of flipped on its head there. I will talk about some positives. I thought that there was an emphasis on pace of play. Maybe it's because Matt Grimes wasn't in there and he kind of slows things down. For better or for worse, we were really just trying to put the ball forward. Like I thought even Bobby Thomas, who doesn't carry the ball forward much, was really just going for it. I think that was probably something that they focused on. Normally, like Kitch is the one that kind of like drives the ball up. He had that assist in the preseason. I think that was against Monaco where Tats had that little tap in. Caleb Urenchi always shot out of a cannon. Really good stuff again from him today in the first half. Faded out a little bit in the second half, but obviously had that amazing assist. Sakamoto couldn't really get it going today. Actually, that whole right side, to be honest, Latsabodier, Sakamoto, obviously I don't know how many games they've played together, but those 2 couldn't really get it going much. Actually, our wingers all in all in the first, actually the entire game really until EMC comes on, could not get much going. As you see, we have 4 minutes of added time here. Hopefully nothing else happens. Apparently there was a Stonewall pen that wasn't called. Yeah, Hamer, a little bit of a disappearing act in the first half. He actually only had 19 touches, which is crazy. I think we've become accustomed to not playing down the left-hand side without Mason Clark, which is why it's so imperative that he gets back up to fitness. So when it's all said and done, he's going to have played 24, 25-ish minutes. And he created 2 chances, and he scored a goal already. No time lost for him at all, getting right back into it. He's not going to be ready to start against Hull, but you would hope to see 30-plus minutes for him. But you never know, because look at Radoni, for example. Radoni played a cameo against Arsenal, and then he comes and he starts in, of course, not a Premier League match, but he still does stretch the legs and play 62 minutes. So really looking forward to that. Looking forward to seeing what him, Taiwo, and Loom Chowna can do. Actually, you know what? Really thinking about it, I'm actually disappointed with Sakamoto's performance today. You normally never see that from him. You really never do. And you know what? I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt here because I feel like it comes down to the lack of play. But to be fair, he did create that third goal. He had the pass to the assist of that third goal. He passed it. EMC kind of chested it towards the byline, and then Victor Torp got over there and put it across net for EMC to tap in. Yeah, let me rescind that statement a little bit. I just thought that Sakamoto wasn't beating defenders like normal today. Let's see, what did his take-ons look like? He went 1 of 3 successful dribbles. He had 1 touch in the opposition box, 51 touches. Maybe I'm being a little harsh, and we obviously know he's my favorite. But, yeah, I want to see a little bit more from him because I think that he really should be pushing to get into that squad. I was actually pretty shocked to not see him play at all against Arsenal. Not that it necessarily mattered too much, but I think it's safe to say that LT will be starting the match against Hull on Saturday, which my match preview will be out tomorrow around 2 p.m. And by the way, while I have you here, please subscribe to the channel. We just hit 5.3K, and like the video and hype if you don't mind. And as always, get down in the comments to let me know your thoughts on this game. Bentley, what the hell is that signing? Absolutely has to mean that Dovin is getting loaned out. He looked shaky. He spilled the ball. I know I'm making jokes about it, but you may as well have just stayed with Ben Wilson there. We got him on a free, to be fair. I guess he's got some experience in the Premier League. He's already played a couple games this season, but I don't know. Weird signing. That's Daniel Honda for me. Now, the goal we conceded. Latsibodier caught out of position, tries to get back. Obviously, he does make it back, and unfortunately, just a little too off balance. And Tottenham loanee, Ero, puts the ball between his legs, Bobby's legs, and Daniel Honda's legs. A little bit unfortunate, but also I think we probably could have done a little bit better there. I really thought the first half we could have done a lot better. Our midfield was just getting run through, and it was just like they were creating an abnormal amount of chances for a League One versus Premier League club. Like if we take a peek here, let's see what it looked like in the first half. They created 1.25 XG, 9 shots, 3 on target. That is a little bit crazy. I'm sorry, that's a little bit crazy. It doesn't matter if you're rotating a team. That I was disappointed with. Bobby played good. Kitch played fine the first half. Kitch in the second half, I don't know what he was doing there. I do wonder if maybe he had that little thought in the back of his mind that he couldn't go back to Honda. Is that possible? Couldn't go back to the keeper? But it kind of reminded me of the Milan goal against Arsenal, or the Milan mistake against Arsenal, where it was like you had another option and you went for the riskier option, and it came back to bite you in the ass. And those are not things that are going to get you into the squad. So Kitch probably drops down the depth chart a tiny bit, especially considering, actually, even the commentator said, I think I had the Plymouth Argyle stream, I want to say, because they had unfathomably well knowledge about like random players on their team. They mentioned about Ethan Pinnock coming in. So it's very real. I bet we'll see him announced in the next day or two, depending on how quick they can get their video going around. They'll probably actually, they might get Frank in there. They might get Joel in there if you saw my video from yesterday. If you haven't, go back and watch it. I'll link it at the end of here. I talk about, what he brings, what he's going to kind of contribute to the team. Even at 33 years old, I'm very happy about it. I think it'll be a good signing. Then, substitutions in the second half. We see Arella Menda come in for Bobby Thomas. And Bobby Thomas wasn't injured. That was definitely a planned substitution because I saw him in the back of the cameras at the start of the second half jogging out in his flip-flops. I think he had his phone in his hand too, so he was just relaxing. I think that was a planned thing. That's what I would have done. I would have split them 45 minutes. He played at right center back, and he had been playing at left center back. So that's a little interesting one for me because if you want to get him accustomed to playing a new position, wouldn't you just put him in and maybe take off Kitch, or even just put Kitch on the right side? I don't know. Or put Latsibodier at right center back and then bring in Milan. Neither of our starting wingbacks played today. Maybe they needed a little rest. I'm sure they were really feeling the pressure of going up against those Arsenal wingers. I mean, Zolis looked ridiculous. Looks like an absolute steal for 34, 35 mil, whatever they paid for him. And then you've got Bukayo Saka. It's Bukayo Saka at the end of the day. Shout out to Jay Silva, by the way. Sticking through it for that entire game. Hull City, ladies and gentlemen. Live update here. They are into extra time against Stoke. So that's good stuff. Stoke, as always, fans really showing out. They've got 24% capacity. Clap it up for Stoke. Anyways. All right, back to the game. What else do I want to talk about? Oh, yes. So when Rudy came off for EMC, Hamer shifted in. And I honestly thought that Hamer looked so much more comfortable playing centrally. So I think that was something that Frank probably wanted to try out. And he probably realized, yeah, maybe Hamer is definitely more natural number 8, way more involved in the play. Just felt like he fit in more to the puzzle of this team because this team is still really kind of figuring out its identity. Obviously, we had rotated personnel today, but Torp did a great job, rewarded with a goal and an assist. Don't know if I ever necessarily saw Torp, and remind me if I'm wrong, play. Well, actually, no, we definitely didn't see Torp play in the Matt Grimes role last year because did Matt Grimes miss a single game? Matt Grimes even played against Watford at the end of the season. But I thought Torp did a good job. EMC, amazing for me, coming in, creating chances, like no time lost at all. And maybe he's actually closer to playing extended minutes than we would have expected, which is what I'm probably going to go with. Now, overall here, let's just take a peek. We had 66% possession. We created about 3 XG. They created 1.55. Fair play to Argyle. They showed up today. They definitely took advantage of us being lackadaisical in the first half. Second half, we were a lot better. You can see they only had 2 shots. They created 0.3 XG. That was when we really decided to wake up. There was a lot of games like that where we decided to wake up in the second half last season. Happy, I'd say. But could have been better. Could have been a lot better. Individual mistakes by players that are fighting to get into the starting lineups. Not what you want to see. You want them to be pushing for those spots. You want there to be controversy. I don't know if I'd necessarily say that Latsbodier made an individual mistake, but definitely was, I guess you could say, caught out of position. But Kitching was, of course, a mistake. Bentley made mistakes. Not that he was ever going to push for Rushy's spot. But overall, give it like a 6.9 out of 10 performance. 6.5. 6.5 out of 10 performance. We did what needed to be done. The fashion of it was very weird because you start up 2-0 and then you disappear for 50 minutes to the point where they actually equalize off of your mistakes. And then a couple substitutions, you wake up. Siddiqui Sharif comes on. The Sheriff comes on. BTA wins a pen. Sheriff looked strong. He looked physical. Didn't have too much time, but it was good to see him on the pitch. Then who else came on? Eccles came on. And who else am I forgetting? No, that's it. So, yeah, cool. Good stuff. Tomorrow, you'll see my match preview for Hull. And it's going to be a big one, ladies and gentlemen. Probably around 2 p.m. Thursday, you're going to see my Premier League predictions. I had to push them back this week because I wanted to see the Cup results. And I'm going to go turn on the Stoke reverse Hull penalty kicks. Kind of forgot that there wasn't extra time. Extra time would have done wonders. But, go Stoke. Anyways, subscribe, play up Sky Blues. Peace out. I'll see you on the watch along Saturday.